Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer. In this video, I'll be showing you how I made these adorable penguins inspired by a photo I saw on Pinterest. This is probably one of the easiest crafts I've made so far in my Christmas Countdown series. In case you haven't been following, check out the other items I've made so far. The amount of tools you're going to need for this project are very minimal. You will need some type of a saw that can cut curves. I used a jigsaw and a bandsaw. As far as supplies, you're going to need paint and something to make the eyes and beaks. So if you're interested in making these little penguins, stay with me and I'll show you how I did it.
I started off by looking at the Etsy listing to get a general idea of the size for each penguin and looked for oval objects that might make good templates. I chose these wood scraps as they are 3/4 inches thick and wide enough to make the black part of the penguin bodies. You'll need something similar to this so it stands up on its own without tipping over. You'll also need a very thin board like an 1/8 inch thick plywood or MDF to make the inner hourglass shaped white part of the body. Anything that will cut easily without splitting or burring and will take paint will work. I wanted my larger penguin to be around 8 inches high, so I marked the top center area and used this paper plate to sketch out the oval shape, making sure to leave a flat area at the bottom. My base measures 4.5 inches, and the overall penguin body measures 7 3/4 inches wide, but you can make yours any size you'd like. I will include a complete cut list in the description for your reference and convenience. Then I took the board outside and cut the shape with my jigsaw. I had to blow off the sawdust repeatedly so I could see my mark. You will most likely need to sand following this process. I also evened out a couple high areas where I cut a little outside my lines. I then used the larger body to create a template for the smaller body. After tracing and cutting out a paper template, I used the very scientific method of taking a washer and a pencil to get my spacing, and then I cut along the lines. Remember, this penguin is shorter as well, so you'll have to trim a little bit off the bottom. My small penguin measures 7 1/4 inches high by 6 3/4 inches wide, and the flat base is 4.5 inches long, just like the larger penguin. Next, I created a template for the hourglass white part of the body by using plastic stencils. I repeated my previous method to decrease the size and used the same washer as before for the small penguin. I found a nice, smooth plywood in my basement shop and used my bandsaw to cut each shape out carefully. In all honesty, this is probably the best tool for this entire project. If I made these again, I'd only use my bandsaw. And here are my pieces. Of course, you'll have to give everything a final sanding before painting. I used a glossy black spray paint. I believe this is the Dollar General brand. It works well enough, but you will need several coats to cover. I used this white primer with more of a matte look for the hourglass parts because it's all I had on hand, but it did cover well. Here are the pieces after the paint thoroughly dried. I had to figure out what I was going to do for the facial features. The best I could find in my stash of crafts were these googly eyes. You could use them as is if you want more of a whimsical expression, but I chose to spray paint them black like my inspiration photo. I cut tiny beaks on my bandsaw with the same plywood and painted them a bright orange. Then I attached the hourglass section to the main body by spreading a good amount of wood glue on the back, and I let it dry thoroughly. I glued the facial features on, being careful not to overdo it as the dried glue will show. If you do have a little bit seep out, wait for it to set up slightly, then take an X-Acto knife and gently scrape the excess away. You can stop here if you'd like, or create garland or other embellishments for the penguins to hold. I wanted a definite winter vibe, so I lightly dusted the penguins with a little bit of glitter paint, and here they are all finished. I'm so pleased with the outcome. They make me smile just looking at the pair, and they really weren't that difficult to build.
So I hope you enjoyed seeing these penguins come to life. If you haven't been following my countdown, remember to check out the other items I've made so far. And also, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button to see what I have coming up next. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as well. As always, I thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.